It doesn't make him any less of a man.
No!
Trust me, this dude is like...
Woo! Hot! Woo! No, that makes him more of a man. Hey damsels, welcome back to Damsels After Dark. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Kristen.
And we are here with another episode reviewing the sequel to our favorite now, I would say, this year, duology.
Yes.
This is Two Twisted Crowns, and we're so excited.
I'm really excited to get into this one. I've been having a moment for months now because she hasn't read it. So we're just really going into it today. So we're super excited. If you want to follow along with us, our reading and review schedule is linked in the description below.
Let's waste no more time.
Yes.
And let's get into it.
Everybody, if you notice, we have this big pink fluffy thing in the middle. I know I just touched the mic, so it's probably gonna go crazy.
I wanna. People use this for ASMR all the time, and I want to be into it whispering.
Whispers are so creepy to me, though.
I love the whispers.
Whispers creep me out.
I love them. They give me the ASMR tingles.
That's probably why I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we had a few audio issues. If you noticed in our other episodes, they were kind of in and out. But I think we got it covered this time around for the most part.
I rushed Chris. I was like, Kristen, everything's perfect. We just our audio needs to be upscaled. So we rushed to get our mics in. And who forgot their cord for mic day? I forgot my cord for mic day. So we scrambled, and now we're using Kristen's mic.
But true to Damsel After Dark form, something has to go amiss. So
I should have just expected it. I'm just sitting here, angry face, upset that I lost my mic. But you're right, it wouldn't be our show if we didn't have some random fucking shit go wrong. Yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm so excited to discuss this.
Yes.
It's been a while for you.
It has been. But, it's okay. It's okay because it's worth it. It really is. This book is really good. Don't want to get into too much right now because, spoilers. But just know it's a good book. You already can kind of tell from the last episode. I kind of already gave it away that it was one of my favorites this year. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is my favorite so far. Yeah, I was trying to think about what other ones that I matched this rating, but I don't think that I did. So
yeah, no, it's really hard. It's really hard to match this book in my opinion so far, especially being a sequel. Usually it goes downhill after the first book.
Yeah.
In some cases, not every case, but definitely this one held true to a good sequel.
I agree. Sometimes when you have a sequel, when they start tying the threads together that they've built up, they're sort of lackluster, but this one was just
right on the money.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So I guess we can jump into our summary about it.
Yes.
Essentially, we open up with Elspeth, who has now left her body, and the Shepherd King is now here, and they're in the dungeon. And I just love his creepy persona of Elspeth, just sort of standing in the shadows and giving crazy
demon vibes.
Yes. I love it so much. And essentially, the plan is still the same. To unite the deck, to get the mist out, and to save... Raven's plan is to save his brother, also, of course, to save Elspeth. And then we have an introduction here, too, of Elm's POV.
Yes, Elm and Ione. I can't say her name right.
Yes.
So, it does kind of switch the POV. So, a lot of people were probably expecting Raven and... Nightmare's POV, but it doesn't continue that way.
At least not strictly that.
No, they're still in there. They're still big main players, but they're not. I wouldn't say the huge focus. Yeah. It kind of shifts between four major players in this book. But
it's funny because there are times where I don't care about the Raven story. They're deep in it. They're deep getting these cards, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. You left me hanging on the other one. Bring me back.
I felt the same way. And, I know that in the first book, you kind of want to know more about, but, it's so crazy how that shift happened.
Yes.
And it was almost immediate in the book for me that shift was like, oh, like, okay, I get it. I like, you guys are doing this. Like, I don't really want to know about that right now.
It's like, I do want to know,
but
not
right
at
now.
this moment.
Yeah.
Like, you stopped me at a good part here.
Yes.
But it's really good. So, I mean, it's hard to tread this line when we're doing summaries for sequels because there's a lot of spoilers. I mean, but essentially the summary is Raven is going off with his group, including the Shepherd King, to go get the elder card. Is it Alder?
The
Alders.
Yeah.
The Alder.
Actually, I think it starts with the P. I forget. The Providence cards?
Yeah, the Providence cards, but
Yes.
the specific Alder one is
the Alder.
The twin Alders.
Yes.
Struggling over here.
You think we just read it like 3 years ago, but
I know,
honestly,
right?
it wasn't that long ago.
So that's his half, and he's on that adventure. And then, as we said, Elm enters the picture, Ione enters the picture, and then so we get some political scheming happening.
Yeah.
Ione is desperate for a maiden card that she used and cannot find, and
Which,
so those
you remember that in the first book.
Yes.
She did have it. That's why I think Elspeth was trying to figure out why is she still using her. This is dangerous. She's still in her maiden form, and it still continues in this book.
Yes, and so Ione is both beautiful because of the maiden card, but then is also reaping the downfall of it, which is that she is just completely emotionless.
It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. And so her and Elm team up to sort of do the politicaling that he has to do because now he's heir and his brother is sick. He's not sick. He's in the hospital recovering from being slashed apart by the Shepherd King.
From the very ends of the last book, or Elspeth Nightmare.
Yes.
Tore him to pieces, which you guys knew that was one of our favorite parts of the book too. So we don't want to give away too much of Ione's because that's a spoiler. The whole thing with what she's trying to do with her maiden card and how her and Elm come to be to handle their situations together. But let's just jump into our overall rating for it. I gave it a 5.
Yep.
I gave it a 5. It was absolutely, like I said in the first episode, the episode previous, I only will reread the first book to get to the second book.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like I don't even need to reread
I was just going to say that. I don't even...
Because
I already... who?
Yeah, like, we get it. It's like, it's just an introduction, but like, I would only want to reread to reminisce about Elm's introduction with the marketplace day. Like, if I could just go back to those parts.
I just need the Elm parts, please.
But it is absolutely great. I like it probably for reasons why other people wouldn't like it. Is Elm and Ione's perspective is far greater, in my opinion, than Raven and Elspeth's perspective. And if you already know, like if you remember the first book, Elspeth is like pretty much like non-existent in a way. She's there, but hiding in the shadows, not too far. Like her and Nightmare switch places. So she is still a part of herself, but in a very, very small way. But it was great. Spice, I'm gonna give it more like a 1 still because it's there. It's just not huge part of the book, and what scenes they do give you is still so great. Even though it's a 1, it's still so great.
And I think the 1 is good because, like you said, it's there, but it's not graphic. It's not drawn out. It's like a very gentle Spice.
Yeah, and it's perfect for the book. It really is.
So I also gave it a 5, and I do think that is my only 5 so far of this year. I fucking love Elm. I knew I loved him in the first book, and then just to see him is amazing. Like, he's wonderful. I love him so much. I wish that I had more of him in the first one, even though I appreciate the subtleness of it, because I feel like I wasn't really expecting it to be. If it wasn't for your, like, heads up, like, hey, it's gonna have more Elm in it, I would not have expected as much Elm as I got. And I was pleasantly rewarded with the amount of Elm, and, like, everything about him. I love him. I love him. I love him.
I know. It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah, he's perfect. Another thing that I loved, and I've said it once before, and I'm going to say it every fucking time, I love a male POV. And then this time I got 2. I got Raven's POV and I got Elm's POV. And I become significantly less interested in Raven as a romantic lead. And so when I was in his POVs, it was really great. I like his love for Elspeth, but I was like basking in the glow of Elm. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, it's nice because he's pushing along that storyline, which is the main storyline. And I'm like, that's all cool, but I'm going to come cuddle over here next to Elm because I love him so much.
I know. And just like another FYI before if you haven't dived into this book, it's really unexpected how it hits you because you're in the first book, the main players are Raven and Elspeth. Mm-hmm. So like you're thinking this whole time, for the most part, I was, that they will be the end game to this story. Yes. So you'll be pleasantly surprised that even though they still are, they are not the only end game to the story. There's like no peasants or anything in the first book, but everybody who is a player in the first book, they are a big player in the second book.
And it's lovely how she weaves those together because it's not just like these Ione and Elm, they're new characters that serve no substantial impact. Yes. Like they have a substantial impact in the end storyline, and I love that she weaved those together. I think she did this masterfully. The only thing that I would give it a thumbs down for is staying true to the first book. The names are fucking horrible. We finally learned the name of the Shepherd King.
Yes.
And they use everybody's first name except for his, and I hate his fucking last name. Taxus? Taxus. Like, why are we using this? Like, we're going out of fucking style.
I think they even say his name in the first
book. It's like Amory or something. It's like, that's a far better name, but why are we calling him Taxus? Was this tax season that we're writing? I fucking hated it every time.
Yeah, so like, it becomes important for, which for obvious reasons in the first book, you can kind of already figure out who the nightmare's related to in the first book. Yes. It's not really a secret.
Yeah.
So, like, it's important because of, which, when we talk about in the spoilers, that is one of my pet peeves, too, of the book. It's like, what? I didn't understand that part. So it's a part in the book where, it comes into play. And it is kind of weird in a sense. Like, why does it matter? You kind of already know it's not a big secret.
Yeah.
So for it to become a big secret in the second book, it's kind of weird.
There was no other tree you could have picked for that name.
I don't know.
That's it's a small pet peeve, but I'm gonna throw it out there because
and to me, names don't change. Like, she could have changed it, and the story still would have been great.
It wouldn't. It's a minor pet peeve. Texas?
Yes, no, I agree. I hated it too.
Amory. Just call him Amory. Yeah. Just call him Amory. I want to hear Texas 2 times. When we first hear his name and then at the very, very end. That's the only time I want to hear that word.
Yeah, I hated it too. And, reading it the first time around, they said it so much I thought it was his first name because I don't think they ever said his first name ever again.
Yeah, it was funny too because she even says, like, oh, what's your name or something like that. And he's like, Amory Parsifal Taxis. And my mind didn't even register those as words. I don't even think she asked what his name is. She says, like, what did you say or something like that. And he repeats that Amory Parsifal Taxis, and my mind didn't register it as a name. I was like, oh, that's a whole other language. I'll just go right back. And the next line was like, that's my name. And I'm like, oh, I should go reread that. That's how weird it appeared on the screen to me. But whatever. They want to call him Taxis.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Whatever. I'm going to call you a different name now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think, like, every time I saw it, I immediately thought of taxes, too. Like, actual taxes.
And that's the worst part. Like, if you have a name that's an odd name, but then it sounds way too close to something else, how can I rid those two of each other?
I can't just associate them either. They're always together now. They're together, like, one big happy family.
Yep.
They've just merged into one name.
Every time I just see the tax man. Every time they show, I can't even imagine this golden knight or king. I'm like,
he's the tax man.
He's just the tax man. Like, oh, so it's hard to take him seriously sometimes when he's trying to, like, fucking battle.
I like it. I wish I would have known that while I was reading it because I would have called him the tax man the whole time now.
Texas. I hate it. So we also like to throw in Goodreads rating, and Goodreads gave it a 4.45 with 124,000 ratings. So again, we're right on there. Now, I'm going to give you the critiques. The most common critique about this book, and so many people gave it DNFs, because
I don't understand.
They hated Elm and Ione.
I don't know how you could hate them. I didn't hear what you said.
I'm gonna read the 2 quotes that I took.
I blocked that out. It's like, I can't.
I want to read the 2 quotes that I took that best sum this up for the, like, handful of reviews that I read about it. Okay.
Believe it.
The characters just dive right into their relationship without any buildup or romantic tension. As a reader, it feels unbelievable and unrealistic. That's the first one. Second one says, I'm sorry, but Elm and Naomi was so out of the blue. Like, they put these two together just to have something interesting going on their side. And my thing to this is, I think people who fall into this category, I mean, you could not like Elm and Naomi, fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to say that it just happened out of the blue.
Didn't.
Because and I think that people were way interested in Raven,
Yeah.
and they didn't see Elm. But
Yeah.
the two of us were like, Elm. And we even said in the first episode, he has the hots for Ione because he kept looking at her. And so I do not think it was out of the blue.
It was obvious. Like,
It was
especially
obvious.
rereading it the second time, I saw it. Like you said, if you're blinded by Raven, you're not paying it. You're trying to get through the Elm, like most people do. Oh, I don't care about this part. I just want to run through these parts.
Get to Raven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you're actually reading and paying attention to other characters as a side interest, so to speak, you would notice that Elm is always staring at Ione, watching her walk out the room.
It was, I think, at least 2 or 3 times very pointedly noted by the author that he was watching Ione.
Yes.
He watched her walk out of the room. I think he was staring at her at some point. He walks up and, like, doesn't he, like, grab her face or something?
So the time when everybody else, even her own cousin, didn't notice that there was a change in Ione's, like, mannerisms for when she drank the chalice.
Yes.
It was Elm that figured out something was wrong with Ione
Yes.
and asking her, what is wrong? What is wrong? Did someone use the scythe on you? And that was the only one who noticed. Then everybody was like,
Yep.
because then they realized they drank the chalice, they drank something and the chalice card affected their drink.
Yeah.
And that was when Hoth, from the first book, all this is from the first book, the Hoth changed their drink to be able to tell the truth.
To play the game.
And it was Elm that noticed it.
Yes. Because Elm has been doing nothing
Yes.
but noticing her.
Yes. So no, I do. And even in the second book, right off at the beginning, when they do try not to do a spoiler here, but when they do make their acquaintance with each other again, there is no like immediate like
No.
spice. It takes a while.
It does.
Their relationship takes a little bit.
And I think it's fair because we are in his point of view, so we can see him gradually sort of. I mean, it's not out of reality for you to see somebody and find them really attractive and be immediately interested in like wanting to be around them, wanting to get all up in them. Well, get all up in them.
I'm not arguing that one.
So I don't feel it's out of the blue. He saw her again. He was like, damn.
I mean, we read enough fantasy, romance, or just fantasy without the romance to become very acquainted with people just jumping in a relationship or being attracted to somebody within the first 3 chapters.
Yeah.
This is like book 2. It's a duology. Things are going to happen a little quicker. And even in my opinion, it didn't happen quick enough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. You might think that it came out of the blue. Not me. It wasn't fast enough.
I saw that shit from a mile away that those two were going to be together. What I didn't see is the whole point of POV, but that was a blessing.
Yes.
That was a fucking yes, ma'am.
Yes. I was
Please, you're blessing me.
Every time you talked to her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to be so fucking stoked for the second book.
Oh my god, it was so good. So
Yes.
I was shook to my core when I was reading these reviews because they all said the same thing.
Yeah, I don't understand. Everybody has their opinion. They can like it or not like it. But to tell me that there was no build-up and it was immediate, in my opinion, is
out of the blue. Nobody saw it
that's not
coming.
true.
You can see it coming from book 1.
I disagree because it happened. It took a little bit for them to get there. Because, like I said, I'm reading. I'm like, hurry up! If I'm saying hurry up with this already, it's not out of the blue.
Yeah. And as you get to learn more things, anyways, it was never out of the blue.
No.
And it happened at the perfect pace, in my opinion.
I agree.
So, yeah, we each have their own opinions, but those ones are wrong.
We disagree.
Yeah, we disagree strongly with those.
Respectfully disagree.
Respectfully. But anyways, overall, 5.
Yes, 5.
Fucking brilliant.
5.
Brilliant way to wrap everything up.
Yes.
It ended in a perfect little bow, and we gave it a universal 1 for spice, too.
Yeah.
It was good spice, though. It was not icy. It was...
Spicy.
It was yummy. All right, so I think that we can move into spoilers then. Spoilers.
Yes, I'm so excited. I love spoilers. Like, it's eating me alive not to talk about spoilers.
We do. Me too.
It's so good. It's so good.
And so, as you know, spoilers will cover our hated parts, our favorite parts, possibly some quotes. I threw some quotes in there, even though normally we've been moving them now to the end. Some of them I just can't. Like, they're a whole favorite part in themselves. So do you want to do your favorite part?
Okay, so my shit is all discombobulated on my tab. I'm trying to get there.
I'll do my favorite part.
Okay, go ahead. Because I'm like, I can't find it.
So my favorite part is parts. First, I have to start out with Elm and Ione. Like, they are amazing. These two together, every interaction that they have, I fucking love it. He reminds me a lot of, I don't even remember his name, but the dude from Kingdom of the Villains.
Envy. I believe it's... Kingdom of Villains.
Yeah. He was just so in love with the girl. Like, it was never even in question.
I'm trying to remember in Kingdom of Villains.
He's not a book boyfriend.
We don't really...
But what I liked about him was... What I liked about him was that he was so into his girl.
Yes.
And Elm mimics this 100%. There is not a moment that you're like, I mean, you're in POV, so it's even hard to do that, but he lets her know every fucking chance that he gets, through every little quip he does, that I am into you. I like you. I want you. And I took a couple of his, like, perfect examples of these. He does not leave any moment for her to think that either, because there's like I said, I have some moments here. So one of the moments is they're in the library, and the, like, I don't even know his name, dude comes up, he's like, you need to sign these papers because you're going to be the heir. And she's like, all right, well, I'm going to leave because I don't want to get in your way. And he grabs her, and he's like, no, that's exactly where I like you. And I was like, yes, Elm. Yes.
I know, that just made me swoon so hard. That's like... I mean, to think about, it's like, I don't care. I want you in my way.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it
like...
doesn't, you stay put. This is where I want you.
In my way. Directly in my way.
It makes my eyes tear.
I loved it. And he does a couple of those.
It's so great.
He does another one where she's saying, like, the more I spend time with you, Prince, the less I seem to know you. And he's like, that's not what I want. It's just... Yeah.
See, this give me tears. I can't. Hold on my makeup, guys.
Kristen's crying over it, and I'm like,
I had this weird, like, reflex where I don't necessarily cry, but it's like anything I get super excited about, my face just gets really warm, and so, like, heats up my eyes like water's boiling. So, like, my eyes are boiling right now because I'm just so excited.
That's so funny. And then there's another one, which is, of course, a favorite quote, but I'm going to say it. He says to her, I'd be your queen, or I'd be your king, but always your servant, never your keeper.
I love that.
I love him. And so it's just those lines. He's just dishing them fucking out to me.
Who doesn't like a manservant?
Oh my God, I know. And he's saying, yeah, I'll be your queen, but, like, I'm your servant.
Yeah, yes.
Woo!
There's something about a man who is, like, got his shit together, knows what he wants, and still, like, bows down for you when he wants to treat you like a queen.
Even when he's in, like, the head station.
Yeah.
He's the head station of the kingdom, and he's like, no.
He like, that's the thing, is, like, he's so confident in who he is as a person. And that's the key, guys. That's the key. He's confident as who he is as a person, to know that the woman beside him is who he wants, and he doesn't give a shit about what other people think, and he's going to bow down to her,
sipping over her all day long.
And you know what, it doesn't make him any less of a man.
No,
trust me, this dude is like,
woo, hot, woo. No, that makes him more of a man. Yes, guys, take notes.
What a man.
Guys are so worried about sipping over their girls, and it's just like,
no.
Literally the opposite.
That's how you keep a woman happy, and that's how you keep a woman, and that's anytime he could throw, and he did it every fucking time he could throw one of those lines at her, he did it, and those are just the ones I captured. But so another one of my favorite things is Ione using his synth card on him. His scythe. I don't know. It's it's spelled not the way it looks like it needs to be pronounced. When she uses
I loved that, because she was, like, trying to barter with him. She, like, slipped it out. Like, that whole scene was sexy. Yeah. And they hadn't even started their thing yet. It was, like, right off the fucking bat. Love that part. Also, I love him telling her over and over that he's delicate.
He is, though. And he agrees. He's like, I am delicate.
Careful, I'm delicate.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's not. Okay, so I will say, I have a couple more, but my favorite fucking fall to my knees part of here is the fucking cellar scene. The entirety of this scene.
Yes, from beginning to end.
The moment she's, like, taunting him about, like, you don't know who I am. He even says some funny line. She says some line about, like, guys don't care about this flower, but now they got this flower. And he's like, I don't give a shit about, I'm not into horticulture, but I like you. And I noticed you. And she's saying, oh, you didn't. So they make this bet. And they end up going to grab, I think it's a chalice card. Yeah, they go to go grab the chalice card in the cellar because he thinks that maybe he can ask her where her maiden card is and she'll have to tell the truth if she knows it. But all in the end, there's like this bet that he's going to prove her at the very end. Like before the chalice runs out, she can ask him how he remembers her. And oh my god, the scene of them asking each other questions is fucking beautiful. She cuts like right to the throat, and he even says like, "Wow, you're just coming right in with all of these."
Yes.
He even says too, like,
I love it.
If I ever have a kid or a son, this will be the moment that I tell him not to make bets with beautiful women. Like, this is the lesson I'm gonna learn from this. But the scene, oh my god, the piece that got me is like their banter is hot. It's hot off the stove. It happened right away. He proves that he's known her and that he's seen her. She had mud on her ankles and he was swooning over it. And so he gets his kiss, but the kiss evolves. They're getting hot and heavy. He's about to rip her dress off and she's like, do it. And he says, beg me to. Yes. Oh my god, I like transcended. And then right after that fucking Flick walks in and ruins the whole thing. But the fact that Flick even came in and ruined it, I was like in heaven, and then I'm just laughing.
And he's so mad. He's like, close the door.
Don't you know how to knock?
Yeah.
He's like, I did knock.
I'll knock harder next time. And then as he's like doing his thing, she gets up and leaves, and he's so like, no, get back.
Because she just runs. She just gets up and she books it. She's fucking gone. Oh my. The beg me too.
She was going to. You know she was going to beg him.
Oh yeah. Girl, I was like, girl, tell him to.
Don't stop. Get on your knees. Just do it.
Oh my god.
Beg for all of our sakes.
Please, beg for me. Beg. So anyways, I have a couple more, but it's the whole book, so I can't.
It really is the whole book.
It's great.
Do you want to tell one more at least?
Let's see.
You got
okay, I'll tell one that's not related to them. Just assume that every interaction of theirs is a favorite part of mine.
It is.
But I will say the one thing that wasn't Texas coming in and fucking moving trees during his battle, his end battle too, where he's like, oh my got his knife and the trees are fucking. It was miraculous.
And the fact that it's in Elspeth's body. So, like, that's why they call him the shepherd. I would have never guessed it. Even though, come on, there was so many hints that he was the shepherd king for a reason with trees. There was so many hints that he spoke to trees. But when he said, I'm not, what did you think I shepherded? Like, that was like, I was like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know. Like, I had no clue. You're right.
You're right. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I was thinking of people. I didn't realize it was fucking trees. Even though you spoke to them. Like, I thought you were just having fun.
I had no idea. I thought you just had a conversation with him. Like, I didn't know. Yeah, but it threw me for a loop even then. But it's like, there's a lot of breadcrumbs in this book for a lot of things. I think if you just, even if you pay attention, it's easy to miss. I missed so much stuff, and the second book just brought it together. I'm like, am I stupid? Like, did I really not know that he shepherded trees? Like,
it's like she's teasing you with these relationships. They're like, oh, you're like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, the plot's really good too. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like that. It's like you're missing the tiny little details in there because she's tricking you with other things. That was great. It was great. He's such a badass, though. That whole scene when they came in and just stormed the castle, I loved it.
I agree. Oh. Yes, great favorite parts. All of those are mine too. They're all the whole book. The whole book. We can talk about the whole book being our favorite part, but like obviously I'm gonna narrow some down myself. When Elm found Ione at her home, her manor, when he went back and got her, from that part on for the rest of the book. That part on to when they meet the highwayman in the road, which by the way, those are not the same highwayman that they are associated with. These are different people. But that whole highwayman scene when she slips the sights from him and attacks the sexy. She's
badass.
Sexy.
She is sexy.
Oh, I was like, this. She's
completely
sexy,
non-emotion
too.
Yeah. Just like, kill me if you can.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's like, I can't talk. Because he is so like stunned by her. Like, well, did she just put? Because he even tells her, "Don't put your hand in my pocket. Like, don't do it." He's like whispering. Okay, I don't like whispers, but if he's like, "Don't do it," I'm like, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, but she grabs it out of his pocket or waistline or whatever, and like kills all the highwaymen saves his fucking ass.
Yes.
She saves his ass a couple times.
She does.
And that's what's great about it, too. It's like, it's so fucking great because, like, he gets really mad that she uses his card without permission, but he still found it hot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. Ooh.
He was mad at her, but he enjoyed every minute
Because it
of
was
that.
hot.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
And obviously the chemistry between Ione and him, like, I don't want to repeat everything you said because it's pretty much the same fucking thing. But I love the fact that Ione had her maiden card missing.
Yeah.
It was so great to the storyline that I can't stand Elm's brother, obviously, Hawk.
Yeah.
But the fact that they used him the way they did, where he hid her card, because that's where you find out. You don't really know in the first book, but you figure it out in this book that Hawk made her hide her card because he told her it would just be better for her if she doesn't feel anything. And that the maiden card in itself with her just paired so great with her personality because she was such bubbly, great, loving person. And she was already beautiful with a little bit of flaws, obviously through Elm's eyes, you know. But she ends up becoming this cold person with no emotion, but all full of desire. On top of that, like, she plays her beauty well, and the fact that you find out her death. She was supposed to have died by Hawk's hand. That was a crazy twist.
That was a crazy twist.
You find out that the maiden card makes you invincible and heals you. It was just such a great, like, I love that part of it.
Yes.
I loved it.
And I like that she made a note that, like, most people probably didn't know this because they were just scoffing it off to, oh, women just want to be beautiful, so here, take this card, and nobody actually investigated the card.
Yes, and like you find out from everybody else, they're like, because Hoth ends up coming back after his issues, you know, and he goes, I completely didn't see this. Like, we completely disregarded the maiden card, and that was all of our failures.
Yep.
And the fact that Taxis tells the Nightmare tells Raven to get the maiden card. He's like, what for? And so it's like you find out that's the back and forth between the POVs. You find out at the great times. Like, and perfect timing to find all this stuff out.
Agreed. And the fact that, like, the women for centuries have been keeping
it a secret
is so good.
And they're keeping it a secret without telling other women, too.
Yes.
So they're just keeping it a secret to themselves, and it's like they didn't want to tell the men. And it's beautifully done.
It is beautifully done.
So another part that I really like, I especially like, you know, or not the library scene, but the cellar scene, the one you were talking about. I like that, but it drove me crazy that they had to stop. So obviously they do continue, and one of my favorite scenes is the throne room, where they do commence there. I love this scene particularly because Elma's sitting on the throne, and she gets on top of him and straddles him, and he's just like, do you like the position? Do you like looking at me, or like me beneath you, or something like that? I was like, ah!
It was very Farrah and Rysand when he's, like, down on his knees, and he's like, do you like the vision of me below you? Like,
I love that.
It was perfect.
I love it. Oh, I love Rysand, so.
Yes. And also, the good thing about the part that you mentioned with Elm, too, is that he, like, they do some, you know, good back and forth banter and, like, some touchy-feely, but he stops it because he wants the real Ione. He doesn't want this maiden. He wants real.
So it wasn't like they were interrupted. They did continue to... Well, they were interrupted by him. Like, it wasn't somebody else. It was his doing. But I still felt like I was fulfilled in that in that one.
Yes. Yeah.
The other thing I really like, and I think you would like this part too, they had a party, and everybody's dressed up as a card. Ione is dressed up as the Nightmare card from... what the king wanted her to be. However, from afar, Elm was super excited that she wasn't dressed up as the maiden card. And he was loving it, but then when he found out it was the king's doing, he was upset. So he takes out Ione's hands, because she's got like paint on her hands for like as if she's claws, and he's like looking at her. Everybody else is around, right? And he's like looking at her dead in the eyes, grabs her hands and like puts it to his chest and like rubs it down on his chest so like the paint can come off. And she does it again with the other hand, and it's like, that is so
dead in the eye. Yeah, just like on my
that is
also
so hot.
I love that part too. And right before that too, he's asking her about her outfit, and he's like, oh, I would have thought pretty pink.
Yes.
And I'm like,
he's just
I love
fucking
him.
with her.
Yeah. She would wear pretty pink, and even she says there's nothing wrong with pink.
Yeah. I just love it. But then the fact that he went from like enticed from her
Yes.
to angry because of his father,
Mhm.
and he immediately decided that he was disgusted by her paint on her hands and
Yes.
stuff like that. He's like wiping.
And on that same note too,
I can't. It's so great.
because his father keeps giving her horrible dresses, and he goes to her house and he gets her dresses, and he says to her, what does he say? This way you can feel a little bit more like yourself, a bit like the real Ione. Like,
I know. It was so
I fucking
sweet.
love this man.
That's so sweet.
He made my book boyfriend list 100%. He was in one book, and I'm like, I think you occupy spot 4 now.
I really wish. Obviously, this is going to be one of my things about this book that I already said in the first one. I really wish they would have went and she would have went more detail with the cards. Hopefully, we could get a book with King Elm because we really need it. Like he's going on the search for the more cards, but like I don't know. I don't want it to be
live
ruined.
the king, please. Yeah, first of his name, King of the Elms. Like, I don't even know why that's hot. It's not even coming from him, but it's about him, and I'm like, yes, please, long live the king. Where do I sign up? How can I serve him?
I know.
But then
Yeah,
the cherry on top of this whole situation is the very end of the book when him and Ione are getting married is beautiful. I like that they came together after Raven and Elspeth, and that was the main love story, but now here we are ending up with these two getting married. And it was just beautiful.
And now she's the queen.
They took over this entire story, and I could not be any happier about it.
Yes, I was glad for it. I wanted every moment to be about them in the second book. I mean, like I said, it was great because I loved the nightmare, the Shepherd King, and Elspeth's like little thing that they have, the fatherly love, the fatherly daughterly love thing that they have, like just the idea of their relationship being so precious to both of them, and he didn't want to he didn't want her to be left behind, and he thought of everything to make sure she comes back, and he does. He brings her back, and he ends up going, I don't know if he goes off with his family, doesn't quite say, but he is at peace, so to speak. And the saddened part at the very end when Raven like gives her the moment, because he had the ability to get rid of the Shepherd King the whole time. He just had to break the nightmare cards because Raven has that power because he's related to him. It's brilliant, but aggravating, and he's so mad, and it's just I felt his anger. I was like, what? It made sense though.
It does make sense.
So like the fact that he was able to do it, he gave Elspeth and Nightmare like 10 minutes, he rips the card, and they have their moment. But can you imagine how she's had him in her head, which we kind of talked about in the first book? He's gone now. And she's at the very end was so cute because like she thought she saw his eyes.
Yeah. And I felt the loss.
I felt it too. I still feel the loss.
I still feel it. It's really sad, and I do think that they grew definitely closer this last book because he was being more forthright with her and spilling certain things out and like straight telling her like, my plan is to leave a better world for you.
Yes.
Like, I'm doing all of this to leave a better blunder for you, so everything that I'm doing is for you.
Yep.
I want to make amends for everything. And then also their fucking bickering is perfect. Like him just like fighting with her, just like yelling things out. I can't help it, Elspeth. Everybody's an idiot around me.
Do you know what it reminded me of? Gollum.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, they're stupid hobbitses. Stupid hobbitses.
And then, like, one of my favorite parts of those two is when he cuts her hair off, and she's like, the chapter just opens with, you traitorous snake, and he's like, it's hair, Elspeth. It will grow back. And then she asks him to hug Ione, and he's like, don't be grotesque. Like,
I like her, but like, I'm not going to do that.
Ew. I love their bickering. It was chef's fucking kiss.
Yeah,
so watching those
so
two
great.
grow together was beautiful, and it was hard to lose him, like I felt.
Yeah, I felt a lot of loss at the end of the book. I was like, no, but it was perfect. Everything about this book was perfect, except for I didn't understand when Raven got to the alder, the twin alders, and she goes, "What's your name?" Like I didn't, and that's how she was able to like. It just he already knew.
Like, and what was the point?
Yeah, like you already. So we get it. His family went in hiding the whole time. The U family went in hiding when they were actually the Taxus.
Yes.
So like we already knew that though, but like to make him say his name and like he didn't know it, like.
And that was the key that she needed to give him the final card.
Yeah, I felt like that was. I didn't like that.
Lackluster.
Yeah, I felt like that
agree.
ending was kind of, but I didn't care. It didn't affect.
Yeah.
Like she should have just given him the card.
or made him go through a different trial. Like,
Or
just
like
saying what his
something. It was
name
just-
was,
yeah.
it was no big reveal, is what it
No.
was. Like, to the reader, like, we already knew. So for him to be like, oh, it's finally clicking and play, it's this. It's just like,
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
the one
we
question.
know.
Yeah, that's the one question. Why not, like,
after
don't know.
threatening him and, like, trying to barter with him for something else.
Yeah.
I also.
I didn't,
But
yeah.
whatever. Those are
Nah, we kind of glossed over that. We didn't really care. It wasn't really the ending of this.
It wasn't.
The trials were great up until you got to the alder,
Mhm.
the alder, whatever. Like the lake that like they saw themselves in and tried
Yes,
to kill them. I thought
yes.
that was brilliant. You
I
know?
did too. Mm-hmm.
I you just got to see where the missing people were. I mean, every loose end was tied up. Everything
Yes.
was great. Everything was pieced together.
And the
Wonderful.
end card, the shepherd.
Yeah.
The final card that exists now, which is like some holographic card that shows all of the colors and,
And
it
it
heals
clear-
people
yeah.
of their infection. Perfect.
Yeah.
All of it perfect. So,
Yeah.
fucking 10 out of 10.
And even great, like, the Shepherd King tells Raven that Elsbeth will never be healed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's cards lingering out there still. Elsbeth will never be able to touch another card
Yep.
without taking it like she
Yeah.
did from the nightmare. So if she touches the Shepherd King card,
Mm-hmm.
she takes that. So she will never be healed.
Yep.
Raven doesn't want to be healed.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in all honesty, I don't see why he should be. He just can't use the cards. There's no degeneration.
So
for
both
him.
of them can't use the cards.
Yeah.
Really. That's fine.
I thought that was fine.
Yeah.
That didn't really bother me.
Yeah. All great.
Yeah, wonderful.
Perfect.
I loved it.
So, most loved characters?
Obviously,
Elm.
Ione.
Elm.
Yeah. Ione, the nightmare. Raven and Elsbeth flew under the radar for me in this book,
Yeah.
which in my opinion is kind of expected, but the nightmare even like went up in a level.
Those
To
are my
me,
two.
so-
Elm and
Elm and
Axis.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ione,
Yeah, the three. They're my
Yes.
three fun players. There's no one really I hated. I don't think I put people I hated
It's just
in it.
supposed to be hated. Which
Yeah,
was
like
Linden
the
Hoff.
obvious
Yeah.
hated characters,
Yeah.
but nothing crazy.
Did you have questions?
I don't think I did.
No questions?
Yeah, it wasn't really a question. It's more of like, I just want more. I just want more from this world.
Yeah, I do too.
Missing cards are out there. I feel like there's a sequel.
I feel
Like a spin-off.
There's a spin-off, yes,
Yeah,
that you
please.
could do.
Please,
Especially
Rachel. I want a spin-off.
under the new king and what's going to happen with the mist and how is Blunder going to rebuild. Like, all of that is a great story.
I think
so.
the mist is gone.
Yes, the mist is gone.
Yeah, but
like,
there's still magic in the
there's
world.
still magic in
Yeah.
the world. There's still people who have the infection, who are... I mean, he sent out, like, a letter at the very end saying, like, if you want to get rid of your infection, come to the castle. It's like, I would love a story of somebody's journey through this world with the
Yeah.
other cards, trying to get to the castle, trying to, like...
I would love that. I would love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I forgot to mention, but I'll throw in here. I loved that, like, the villain was so authentic. Like, his wanting to keep the cards separate and not fix this because, that's what keeps people worshiping him. Like, I like that aspect because it felt so rooted in reality.
Yes.
Everything Hoth did was so rooted in reality that he was evil, but it was a evil that made sense.
Yeah, he killed his own father,
killed his
which
own
we
father,
forgot. I
like,
forgot
yeah.
all about that. Yeah, he
Mhm.
killed his own father because his father still wanted to clear the king, but he wanted it for his own fame and infamy.
Mhm.
Well, his son wanted it to be able to control.
Yes.
I think it's great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All the way down to the very end too, when he's still fighting them in the very end. Like, I don't know, his character was well done.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was great. It was great. I loved it. Loved it.
Please give us more.
Yeah.
Please.
I would love to have more. But yeah, I don't have any questions. I don't think I have anything else. I mean, I'm still thrown back and aghasted by the Goodreads reviews, but other than that,
I just can't. I am also just a loss for words because
Yeah.
that was the whole obsession of this book, and so the fact that people absolutely hated it.
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
sorry.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'll keep him. We'll keep him for ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't need to share. You don't like him? That's fine.
Yeah, we'll take him.
Give him my way. It's
We'll
fine.
take him.
But anyways, yeah. So all around, fantastic duology. We would recommend it. Up, down, sideways, left, right. Oh, and somebody did an amazing, like, sort of overall sum of this on Goodreads that I found. Eamon said, ate, devoured, feasted, and licked the plate clean. Now that's how you write a motherfucking sequel.
Oh, yeah.
100% agreed across the board. Mm-mm.
That's a good review right there.
Yeah, it was perfect. But anyways, I think that wraps up this episode. Next week we are doing Kristen's kicking her feet. I'm dragging a kicking and screaming Kristen through the Cat and Mouse duet, which is so popular, the Haunting Adeline. And we are also going to read Satan's Affair, which is the supposed prequel that the author recommends that you read first. We're going to read all of those, but next week will be specifically centered on Satan's Affair and Haunting Adeline.
Yes, we are.
I remembered all 3 of those book titles. Just let it be known. But so we'll review those next week.
Yes, please come back and join us every Wednesday at 5 p.m. on, I think we're on everything. We might be a little bit lacking on Spotify and some things because we just had to get our audio situation figured out, but I think we'll be back on there. So if you're missing us there, sorry. We'll be back on there pretty soon. But just keep following us, like, subscribe, however you are watching us, and join us for next week.
Yep, and post your favorite parts down below.
Yes, we would be interested to know.
Yeah, we like to keep the conversation going down there. Well, we'll see you guys all next week.
Bye.